Hello, my name is Judy Rafferty. I'm a psychologist and I'm a member of the Ezy Speech team because there is a large psychological component in all communication. Psychologists use cognitive and behavioural techniques to understand and change what we do and how we think. Sometimes psychologists focus on problems, but much of what we do as psychologists is called positive psychology, and it's about enhancing and changing the direction of your life in a way that you choose. It's about making choices and improving your life. So today, we're talking about the choice you have made to do the Ezy Speech program. Congratulations! By starting this program, you have just opened a door into a brighter, freer future. When you step through this door and go beyond it, you are going to find yourself, the real you, the person that you know you can be. Saying or thinking that I am a stutterer, a person who stutters, is what we call a self-conceptualisation. A self-conceptualisation is something that we believe about ourselves. I'm a female. I'm a psychologist. I am clumsy. I am beautiful. Some self-conceptualisations are facts and some are not. When through the program you become consistently fluent, think of the relief, of the release. But who would you then be? Your self-conceptualisations might have to change. A communication difficulty, like stuttering, can give you excuses not to do things, not to speak up in a difficult situation. And it leads the people that love you to take care of you and protect you. If you complete this program, then those things will change and you will have to step forward into your own life with no excuses. This program will change more than your speech. You are about to change your self-concept. Are you ready and willing to do so? Exciting or scary? Or maybe both? With the Ezy Speech program, you will be well supported by your speech pathologist, speech coaches and psychologist to make this exciting journey of self-discovery, the journey of a lifetime. I know you can do it. In this next segment, David, Ashley and I will attempt to steer you in the right direction in terms of how to use Ezy Speech technique in our outside world.
And Emma Snowsill is the Olympic champion.
An Olympic gold medalist. Does it
scored in the 58s to win. He's pushed out to Thurston, and Thurston dummies. He splits through and he scores.
To race well and get on that wall first is just fantastic.
Picked up by Brown. He's got it.
And Serena has given herself.
Real keen on that. It was a pretty tough pre-season, but.
Ashley Cooper. 2 goals like in Germany 2006.
How do I use my Ezy Speech technique in outside situations?
That's a very good question. I will try to answer your question during this session. The answer, however, can be both simple and complicated. the answer often lies within the individual. It depends on how you are prepared to look at your new technique. I can give you a couple of examples of people I know here in Australia. Two people who understand the Ezy Speech technique. Two people who, prior to adopting their new technique, had most severe stutters. John and Mark use their technique all the time and are managing to keep their stutters under control. You would not know that they even had stutters.
You may have a severe stutter, or you may have a stutter that only happens every so often. If you have a severe stutter like Mark and John, you're lucky. You have nothing to lose by throwing yourself into this program and improving your life. If you only stutter every so often, and sometimes you're fine, and other times it feels like a disaster, a complete humiliation, then what are you going to do? If you take on this program as a closet stutterer, then you're going to be doing just what you fear most. You are going to choose to draw attention to your speech. Why would you do this? Why not just keep going the way you are? May I answer that question for you? You're going to do this program and put yourself out there, because to not do so means that sometimes you have to hide yourself. Hide your stutter, hide yourself. So you're going to take the giant step. You're going to do what you fear most and actually choose to speak differently to other people. That is, until you fully master the techniques. If you can provide the courage and persistence, then the program can provide the little bit of magic you need to make the change. It's important that you fully understand why the program will work for you, as it has for John and Mark.
Everywhere they go, they use their technique. After they completed the Ezy Speech course, they introduced themselves to their families and friends as the new John and Mark, speaking at no faster than 100 to 120 syllables per minute. They use obvious and solid technique. John and Mark didn't care what anybody thought. They sounded different to their friends and family, who noticed a major change in the way that they spoke. They noticed John and Mark speaking a lot slower than usual, but they noticed that they had a new state of confidence and acceptance of who they were. I spoke to a couple of Mark's friends, and they were just so proud of him and what he had achieved with his fluency. Both John and Mark have noticed that over the last 6 months, control over their fluency has led to a clearer view of all aspects of their lives. Constant concern over their speech has faded, and a new confidence and relaxed aura surrounds them. Even their rates of speech have increased. They're probably speaking at around 120 syllables per minute, and it sounds so easy and wonderful. Ashley, what do you think is the most important thing in relation to making your new technique work for you?
Without a doubt, it would have to be practice. I suppose anything you want to achieve in life doesn't come without the work, and usually a great deal of practice.
Yes, that's true. Many of our sporting heroes would not have achieved what they have without a great deal of practice. And to maintain their success, also requires plenty of practice. I mean, just imagine you were keen on the game of golf, or you wanted to learn how to ski. Maybe you wanted someone to show you how to knit. If you were motivated to learn and someone was kind enough to teach you the ropes, or you decided to do an instructional course, surely the first thing you would want to do would be to try out your new skills. If it was golf that you had just been instructed in, would you stride to the ball and hit it as hard as you could, without thinking about all the techniques that you had learnt?
As David has said, skills, especially new skills or techniques, need to be practiced. Why? Because skills require the brain to establish neural pathways. What are these neural pathways? Here's a simple way of understanding a complex event. Have you ever noticed that water running downhill will create a path, and after subsequent showers of rain, the water flowing downhill will continue to follow the same path? After a period of time and many rainfalls, there is a deep path in the earth where the water has made a track down the hill. If you want the water to follow a different path, then you have to create a new path. Divert the water before it gets onto the old path. The brain is a bit like this. The paths are called neural pathways. The neural pathways are made up of neurons, and a neuron is a nerve cell. In the brain, series of neurons fire in a chain, one after the other, very, very quickly. There's a simple rule to understanding the brain. Neurons that fire together wire together. So that means that every time you stutter, you're hardwiring the stutter and making the pathway deeper and stronger. But every time you speak fluently, you're hardwiring that fluency into your brain and establishing a new neural pathway.
I see what you're getting at. Any new activity that we learn requires us to adopt the techniques and put them into place when they're needed.
That's so true. Properly hitting a golf ball requires a number of skills that are played out in the mind before even attempting to hit the ball. Champion golfers like Tiger Woods and Greg Norman have reached the stage where their techniques and skills are so practiced that when they take the shot, the result is good to very good nearly every time. I know Greg Norman would practice for an hour every afternoon, even during a tournament. That sort of commitment and passion for something that we strive for always results in success. You know, Ashley, it's no different when you set yourself a goal to overcome your stutter.
The success of this program is based on neuroplasticity. That is, the brain's ability to change. Up until now, you have an established pattern of speech. We all do. When you use the techniques in the Ezy Speech program, such as prolonged speech and altered breathing, then you are breaking up your old patterns of speech. This has a wonderful and freeing impact on your brain. You are disturbing the old stuttering brain pattern, which is fantastic, because when you do that, you allow a new, fluent pathway in the brain to develop.
Ezy Speech gives you the technique and the skills. Commit to these skills and go about using these in the best possible way. And never forget, practice, practice, practice. The results are life-changing.
What if I haven't got the level of commitment that John and Mark display in terms of maintaining my fluency?
Often, even the most motivated people are a little reserved and hesitant about using technique in what we call the real world. It's not because they would rather stutter, but sometimes it's because they have been stuttering for so long that this is the image they have built of themselves as a stutterer. It can take some time to adopt new technique, even if this technique can offer control over their disfluency. Some find the technique works well while involved in the course, or when they are practicing technique with other stutterers, only to find a lack of control in outside situations. I know we don't all have the same attitude as John and Mark, but we all have to come to terms with the use of our newly found technique at some stage. So the sooner the individual allows themselves the use of Ezy speech skills, the sooner the benefits of fluency can start to reap the fruits of confidence.
How true! But sometimes your mind seems to have a mind of its own, doesn't it? What about when you think that you'll eat really healthy food, but your mind doesn't seem to want to? Or what about when you decide to exercise every day, but your mind tells you it's too cold, or too hot, or too late, or too early? What is your mind telling you about this program? Perhaps it is saying that it's too hard, or too time-consuming, or not likely to work for you, even if it does work for others. Or that it would be easier to stay just as you are now. Just because you think it doesn't mean that it is true or that you have to believe it. It is important to work with your mind and to keep it in line and not let it boss you around. Don't let those unhelpful, negative thoughts take charge. You be the boss.
Obviously, the ideal situation is simply jump in and start using the Ezy speech technique as soon as you can. Technique should be there every time we attempt to make a sound. Most people, however, desire to take their road to fluency a little more sedately. So Ashley, if you're one of those, I would like to give you some ideas that may help you maintain your fluency in the outside world. If you have any questions, Ashley, don't hesitate to just jump in and ask. We have established that practice is number one in the must-dos of anyone trying to master new skills. Remember that the practice you do must be perfect practice with excellent technique. Now, there is a mini booster program included in the Ezy Speech course. This is recommended for use on a daily basis. And after a period of time, this simple practice session can be done anywhere and anytime. It can be practiced without even uttering a sound. Instead of counting or repeating the mantras out loud, simply drop the thoughts of counting or the mantras onto your outgoing breath. Remember, even when practicing silently, use good diaphragmatic breathing with a slow in-breath. Using this silent practice technique, you can be practicing technique anywhere and any time. Practice while you're driving, on the train, lying in bed. In terms of maintaining fluency, don't expect the technique to work for you if you don't practice regularly. It's like everything else in life. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. Sometimes, Ashley, you may feel fluent and think that you don't need to use your technique. After completion of the Ezy Speech course, and after other periods of intensive practice, generally a feeling of control and fluency is achieved. Imagine that the feeling of fluency can be deposited into an account that you can draw upon when you need it. With your fluency account topped up, it is possible for many to speak fluently without giving too much thought to technique at all. Recovering stutterers refer to this as carry-over fluency, or fluent speech without the use of good technique. When you are feeling fluent, it is sometimes easy to let the experience of carry-over fluency lull you into a sense of false security. Ashley, carry-over fluency is a trap. When people experience carry-over fluency, they tend to withdraw from their fluency account and ride along on a high until such time that their fluency account is totally withdrawn. When this is allowed to happen, a relapse into stuttery habits is often seen. Don't fall into the trap of speaking without using technique. It sounds strange, but the best time to practice and ensure that your fluency is ongoing is when you are feeling in control. That is, practice when you feel fluent. And top up your fluency account by ensuring you're using good technique. Using good technique in difficult situations, or situations that you have had difficulty with in the past, is a great way of boosting your level of confidence. If you treat practice and technique in this way, your fluency account will grow larger and larger. Don't forget what John and Mark do. They simply practice every time they open their mouths.
Sometimes someone will ask a question and I feel like I have to answer quickly. Sometimes I'm not ready with my technique.
Be careful with this situation. This can lead to what we call spontaneous speech, which is simply reacting to a question or a situation that you feel requires an instant comment or answer. This is one of the pitfalls of conversation in the outside world, and that can often lead to lack of fluency. Remember that you have a plan for fluent speech, a technique that you have put in place. Don't forget, when Tiger Woods addresses the ball, he has a system he puts into place. The neural pathway for striking the golf ball is well trodden in his brain. He doesn't react to comments, spectators, or any other interfering factor that may put him off striking the ball perfectly. It's the same for anyone who is motivated to control their stutter. We have all heard a discussion on the establishment and maintenance of solid, positive neural pathways, and how, with time, they can see the disappearance of negative pathways that we develop over many years of stuttering.
If you understand this, then you'll really understand that there are two parts to the program. One is to learn the techniques, and the second is to use your speech over and over and over and over again until a new neural pathway is in place. It doesn't take brains, it just takes a determined decision to take your speech down the new neural pathway each and every time you speak.
So it is all about us taking control of our own lives and using our positive neural pathway of Ezy Speech technique. And step up and address that ball. When you react to a question or comment from someone, don't speak spontaneously without technique. You take control of your own reaction. Don't let anyone drive your reaction. Don't let anyone hinder your desire to be fluent. Remember, it's your choice to be fluent. You alone take control. You can never change other people. You can only change yourself and your reactions.
Our minds have always had only one job to do. Our mind's job is to keep us safe. When we were hunters and gatherers, the goal of the day was to stay alive. Nowadays, physical survival is pretty easy. Psychological survival is not. The mind does not discriminate between the two. It only wants you to be safe, so it looks for problems. It scans the future, what might go wrong. It reflects on the past, what went wrong. And this is why our minds are essentially negative. The mind looks for problems so that it can see them ahead of time and avoid them, and therefore keep you safe. The mind needs to ensure that we are socially acceptable and that we belong to a group of some sort. So the mind wants us to fit in with other people. This is not about having friends. This is about survival. We are pack animals. In the days of dinosaurs, if you got booted out of the group, you would not have survived alone. Even now, social isolation and loneliness result in a reduced quality of life and sometimes a reduced lifespan. Because the mind needs to make you fit in, it will keep up a running commentary about how you are succeeding or failing on this. It will make you want to look a certain way, sound a certain way, and act a certain way, so that you can fit into the group. So what does this have to do with your speech? Remember, the mind is focused on survival. It will take a short-term view of any situation that frightens it. It will want you to run away and avoid. Avoidance is a great idea if there is a physical danger. But it is the worst thing that you can do if the danger is psychological or emotional. Each and every time you avoid a situation because it makes you uncomfortable, the worse the situation will become for you. And the more uncomfortable and distressed you will feel the next time. You will face this psychological challenge in the second part of the program, after you've learned the new techniques and are ready to use them in the outside world. Your mind will do its best to talk you out of using your new speech in any place where it feels that it might embarrass you or make you stand out and not fit into the group. What it says to you will sound reasonable and sensible because you are reasonable and sensible. But don't be fooled. It's a short-term cop-out to avoid feeling bad. Your thoughts need to work for you, not against you. Let's get you back to being the boss. Once you are boss of your own thoughts, it'll be much easier to be boss of the stutter. Tell your mind, I'm the boss here and I can do this. We are safe. Leave it to me.
To help you respond to questions asked of you in public, you may like to think of some standard responses to hold in your fluency arsenal. All of these responses should begin with a slow diaphragmatic in-breath and dropping the words smoothly and gently onto airflow and metering out the words in a rhythmical fashion. Often the first phrase that you utter with great technique can set you up for the rest of your conversation. Your first phrase may be at great technique at 120 syllables per minute. This could be answering a question or initiating conversation. Either way, use great technique with a slower foundation rate. Ask me a question, Ashley.
How are you today, Dave?
I am well, thanks. And how are you today? Another question?
Did you see that movie last night?
Yes, I did. And yeah, I thought it was great. You see, I'm not rushing the answer. I'm taking a slow in-breath and using good technique with a rate of about 120 syllables per minute. When initiating conversation or answering a question, address your technique well. It's amazing how much that first control phrase boosts your confidence.
Excuse me, could you please tell me the time?
No worries. It's 25 past 10.
Thank you. I'm trying to find the cafe. Would you be able to give me directions?
I think so. If you just take this path, follow it right to the end and take a left, the cafe is not too far from there.
Thanks for that. Hope you all have a great day.
My pleasure.
Well, how did all that feel?
I never forgot my technique and maintained good abdominal breathing. I felt wonderful and totally in control.
That couldn't have happened at a better time. That's life. These types of things happen on a daily basis. As you did during the course, you prepared and addressed your technique very well, and the result was wonderful fluency. Well done.
I worry that when I use the technique, it may not sound like me. Is there anything I can do?
You're right. People who know you are going to notice some changes in the way that you speak. Initially though, when you introduce your new technique to family, friends, and even people you have never met before, be honest. It is so simple. Accept your stutter. Everyone you know knows you stutter, but most probably never discuss it. You've probably always done your best to hide it.
Don't forget that everyone's mind works the same way. If you are honest and you allow another person to know something about you, then the other person's mind will evaluate the situation as safe and the person will feel happy to be with you. Your mind can only learn that it's safe to be honest by being honest and discovering that it is a positive experience.
Others know it concerns you. Only you know how much. Now is the time to be honest. Release it. Tell people that you are a stutterer.
But they already know that.
That's right, but you are allowing yourself acceptance and you're releasing it to all. For example, I am a stutterer, but I am working on a new technique that helps me to control my fluency. By saying those few words, you have just changed everyone's expectation of you. They will now expect you to use technique. They will expect you to sound a little different. What an out. They will want you to use your technique. They will see you as a person who has more control over your speech. They will see you speaking a little slower than usual. They will see you with a new state of confidence and acceptance of who you are. And they will want to be around you because you are a winner, aiming to improve yourself. By doing this, gone are the days where your thoughts are along the lines of, they expect me to stutter. They expect me to have problems. They now expect me to use my technique. They expect to hear my fluency improve. They may even remind me to use technique if I slip up. This is one of the most important steps in transition.
Mum and Dad support me so much in my quest to maintain my fluency.
I'm so glad that you've mentioned that. The transition of taking your fluency to the outside world can be enhanced by involving the people you love. Mothers and fathers, wives and husbands, your children and close associates can all help you in introducing your new fluency to the outside world. You should include your family and friends in your maintenance program and tell them how important they are in having success with your new technique. Your loved ones will expect you to use your technique at home. Your family and friends will help and remind you when you slip up. When you maintain excellent technique and fluency with your family and friends, a foundation of fluency with support can be built at home. This solid basis of support of your use of technique will help to create a fully rounded fluency in all aspects of your life.
When I was stuttering a lot, I always worried about what other people would think of me.
It is very common for people with stutters to worry about what others think of their struggles with speech. The fact is, Ashley, people don't really care how you speak, as most are so wrapped up in their own situations and problems to be bothered judging your stutter. Also, most people's ears are not tuned in to the subtleties of speech, and they don't even hear the changes you're feeling. All the more reason to just do what you have to do. Walk the walk and talk the talk. So no matter what you are doing in life, try not to avoid speaking situations. Jump in. Enjoy life and use your newfound technique. Try to bounce back from adversity. Be positive and don't let a problem or hiccup with your speech ruin your day. Get back on the Ezy Speech horse as soon as you can. Take on new and more difficult speaking challenges with confidence and practice technique whenever you can.
Taking on speaking engagements in public is certainly the biggest test for your new technique. Remember, public speaking is the single biggest fear for the average person, the average fluent person. So, rather than listening to your own internal, chattering, anxious mind, get into every speaking situation that you can. Psychologists treat phobias this way. It's called exposure and desensitization. You intentionally expose yourself to the feared object or situation, and gradually, by consistent, graded exposures, you learn to desensitize yourself to the thing that you fear. This desensitization is about teaching your mind that nothing bad is going to happen. It doesn't work to tell your mind, you actually have to prove it. You might like to consider practicing these steps in your imagination first. As mentioned previously, practice the mantras in your mind while using good breathing technique.
Practice every time you open your mouth. Think before you speak, and never speak spontaneously. You may be fearful in new speaking situations, but challenge yourself. It will help you grow as a person. Ashley, I know that you are a person who is supportive to other stutterers, and you have been willing to make yourself available to help others in the Ezy Speech network and their quest for fluency. I have noticed that you have much more control over your fluency.
Yes, I find myself listening to people more carefully when in conversation. I'm becoming more caring and not so self-absorbed. By taking on more speaking roles, I now find myself experiencing much more in my life than I ever would have before. The world is my oyster, and speaking opportunities from now on will offer excitement and new possibilities.
Let's look at the adoption of the Ezy Speech technique as not only a change in the way that we speak, but more importantly, the change in ourselves. Let's feel more confident in ourselves and take on roles in life that are more challenging. The thought of stuttering will take less and less of a controlling factor in our lives. Life is a gift to us all and should be experienced to its fullest extent. Allowing residual negativity to thrive between our ears will not only hinder the adoption of Ezy Speech technique, but also restrict us experiencing life to the fullest. We all must take personal responsibility for our recovery.
I know that you can look after your mind's fears about not fitting in and looking different, because now you know that everyone has these fears. They are normal. And I truly believe that even though, like everyone else, you have a mind that doubts you and your ability, another part of you knows that you can do this, and it feels positive and empowered and ready to go. I would like you to pause the DVD in a moment. I have prepared some questions for you to consider. Take your time to consider these questions. It will help you to commit and prepare yourself for the journey ahead. If you choose, you can record answers within your secure, personal template located on the Ezy Speech website. You may wish to update and/or add to those notes over time. These notes can serve as positive affirmations of current and future commitments to your fluency. How did you go? Keep your answers and review them following the course. They will help you. I truly hope that you are now ready to begin the program with a realistic and optimistic sense of adventure. You have just opened a door into a brighter, freer future. Step through the door and go beyond it. You are going to find yourself, the real you, the person that you know you can be.
One of the main benefits of Ezy Speech is the solid technique that it provides. The course always remains with you, so you can brush up or enhance your technique at any time you choose. Once the techniques have been learnt and you find yourself being able to harness these at home and in the outside world, it is important to ensure that you are on the right track with the technique. It is vital you don't adopt any bad habits that can lead to technique being eroded over time. It is important that you are confident with Ezy Speech. If you are having some difficulty with technique or any other issues regarding your speech, then it is a simple process to jump on the Ezy Speech website and get access to your Ezy Speech network. The support we offer is, we believe, the best system of support ever offered to recovering stutterers, no matter what training they have experienced. This network is set up to indeed support you for life. Once you have agreed to be part of the Ezy Speech network, you will have access to people not only in the area in which you live, but also worldwide. Like-minded individuals, similar to yourself, highly motivated in maintaining their levels of fluency. Initially, you will be given the opportunity to contact these people safely via our website. Then, if agreeable, by email, Skype or phone. The goal of Ezy Speech for the future is to see self-help Ezy Speech associations establish themselves all around the world, so people who show the initiative and contact like-minded individuals to practice their fluency technique are the seeds of larger associations that will grow into the future. These associations, whether it be as pairs of individuals or groups, will form the Ezy Speech network, a network of fluency with support. Ezy Speech also offers a one-to-one service of therapy with a number of different people via the wonderful medium of worldwide Skype. Simply book one of our Ezy Speech coordinators over our website for services in any of the following: speech pathology. Book an Ezy Speech speech pathologist to discuss issues with technique and maintenance of fluency. You will be given a full report on all sessions. A full written report at the end of each session will give you comprehensive feedback as to how your technique is performing and suggestions aimed towards your ongoing improvement. Speech coaching. Book one of our Ezy Speech coaches who, between them, have amassed more than 40 years of experience in prolonged and easy speech. They can help you solve some of the day-to-day issues of maintenance and give you tips on maintaining fluency in the outside world. You can book a coach for a simple chat to exercise your technique or have a mini booster session to work on foundation rates. Our coaches are recovering stutterers themselves, so they understand and know where you are coming from. Don't forget to take advantage of the 3 half-hour Skype sessions that you are entitled to. Book one of our Ezy Speech coaches and have wonderful relaxed sessions aimed at trying out your newfound technique. These will be supportive sessions designed to help you master the skills and to evaluate how you are going. You will receive a free written evaluation following each session. Psychology. Book our Ezy Speech Psychologist if you have any concerns or issues involving the use of technique. For example, if you are having trouble with the transition phase from home to the outside world, our psychologist can explain the changes that need to take place within your mind in order to move forward fluently and confidently.
Hello and welcome to your daily Ezy Speech Booster session. We strongly recommend that you spend just 8 minutes every morning getting your day off to a great start. Not only do you deserve some me time each day, but you must reward the positive effort that you have put in to date by maintaining your Ezy Speech technique on a daily basis. This booster session is one tool in your Fluency with Support toolkit. Enjoy your session and your day.